Thank you very much, and I thank the chairman and my good friend, the ranking member, for bringing forth this important bill to the floor before us today. And I rise in strong support of this bill, H.R. 5732, the Syrian Civilian Protection Act, a bill of which I'm proud to be an original co-sponsor, and I want to thank again our wonderful chairman and the esteemed ranking member for always working together in a strong bipartisan manner to bring important issues to the House floor. And this bill is no exception. Often lost in a debate on the fight against ISIS or the future of Syria is the humanitarian crisis that has resulted from this conflict that is now in its 6th year with no end in sight. These numbers are horrific. You heard Chairman Royce and Ranking Member Engel speak of them. Hundreds of thousands dead, millions that have fled their homes, millions more who are in desperate need of assistance. Yet the Assad regime and its patrons in Iran and Russia continue to bring pain and suffering to the people of Syria. And what's worse, they continue to deny humanitarian assistance to parts of the country. Actions need to be taken, Mr. Speaker, against Assad, against his regime, and they need to be taken against those who are providing material support to Assad that allows this horrific conflict to continue. Accountability is imperative, and that's what this bill aims to do. Mr. Speaker, this bill builds upon a bill that I authored in 2012, which became law, the Iran Threat and the Syria Human Rights Act. It expands the sanctions currently on the books, and it gives the administration the tools to go after those who are responsible for this humanitarian crisis and the ongoing suffering of the people of Syria. I was so pleased to work with Chairman Royce and Ranking Member Engel to include amendments that I authored into this bill that would determine that denying or hindering access to humanitarian aid is indeed a serious human rights violation, and as such would allow the administration to sanction any individual responsible for doing so. The United Nations Security Council has already passed several resolutions to allow for direct and free access to humanitarian aid. But, Mr. Speaker, as reported in a recent GAO review that I commissioned alongside our esteemed foreign affairs colleagues, Congressman Ted Deutsch, Ron DeSantis, and Jerry Connolly, the Assad regime, between the years 2015 and early of this year, has denied 100 of the 113 requests from the United Nations to deliver humanitarian aid. This is unconscionable. This must be put to an end immediately. And this step, therefore, Mr. Speaker, is a step in that correct direction to bring accountability to Assad and the supporters of this evil regime for the atrocities they have committed or are complicit in. And I would urge my colleagues to support this important measure before us. I would urge the administration to lend its strong support for this bill and use this legislation as an opportunity to fully and vigorously enforce these sanctions in an attempt to put an end to one of the greatest humanitarian tragedies in a generation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Royce. Thank you, Mr. Engel. And I yield back the balance of our time, Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady.